Hey guys, this is Slaughter. Hello and welcome to another Kenobi discussion, the second last of what may be Season 1 or what may be the entire series. Before we begin though, today's video is sponsored by my very good friends over at Vite Ramen. If you've been subscribed to the channel for long enough, you'll know that Vite Ramen is probably my oldest and most reliable partner, so much so that we actually came together to make our own custom ramen flavor. Massaman curry was my choice. I was very selective about the flavor. I sent it back probably 6 or 7 times until it's perfect, and now you can also get Vite Ramen internationally. It used to be limited just to the US, but now there's international shipping. So my Massaman curry flavor is the best, but Vite Ramen generally is really good for you. It's better than other ramen. It has a lot less sodium. It's delicious, and it's cheaper than buying fast food. It's a really good way to make small, healthy changes in your life. They're also a great company. They've always supported me, as I said. They're a small American company. They treat their employees very well and pay them a living wage. Definitely worth your support. If you're interested, check the link down in the description. There's some cool packages down there, and use code Slaughter for 10% off. With that being said though, let's talk about Kenobi. And this was probably, I think, along with many people, my favorite episode of the series. Was it perfect? No, I don't think so. I'm going to get some of my annoyances right out of the way so I can spend the rest of the video focusing on what I like. First of all, the lightsabers, they're just not working. These lightsabers glow too much, the color isn't right, it's a little thing, but I really haven't liked how they look throughout this show, and just generally the visual effects have not been up to snuff in my opinion. They're certainly nowhere near The Mandalorian or even the Book of Boba Fett. That's also true in my opinion with a lot of the action scenes, just the direction generally. I don't want to focus on this too much because it's something I've covered in prior episodes. This didn't really fix that, but there was enough good that I still really liked it. So with the negativity out of the way, let's talk about what I liked, and there was a lot. One thing I want to start off with is that I thought it was really genius how the show incorporated flashbacks to Obi-Wan and Anakin throughout the episode, and it definitely told a lot about what's going on in Vader's head. One thing that I actually quite liked that I know some others didn't is that with Hayden, they decided to go pretty much au naturel with his appearance. He did not seem to be de-aged. He wasn't even heavily make-upped. Now, obviously, he doesn't look exactly how he does in episode 2, but the reality is that actors age. Sometimes I think it's good that Star Wars just allows itself to be like a movie or a TV show, if that makes sense. Anyway, another thing that I really like that I just alluded to is Reva. Now, there's been a lot of criticism levied towards this character, I think, since episode 1. Some of it I think probably fair, others that I don't agree with. I think Reva purposefully is meant to be bombastic. She's clearly overcompensating for the fact that she's not quite as much of a Darksider as Vader, as the other Inquisitors. She's obviously not super happy about having to torture Leia. She doesn't like the scene where Vader kills the children. Some of this has been a bit more nuanced than other bits, and I think we finally started to get a real payoff in episode 5. I love the scene where she was talking through the door with Obi-Wan, and I think her motivations are so much more interesting now. It's also a very Star Wars story. She meant to do the right thing, at least sort of. She meant to get back and stop Darth Vader, who had essentially ruined her life. But by traveling down this dark path, it's now, as Yoda would say, dominating her destiny, and she's on this path where she herself has pretty much done more harm than good, and she's been totally warped, even though she initially had the right idea. Pretty much the same thing that's happened to Anakin, same thing that happens to a lot of Jedi who fall to the dark side, and I think it's done in a unique and interesting way with Reva.
Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
I also really liked that scene where she faced off against Darth Vader. I made a short about this over on my X Clips channel, but that was basically like Reva trying to fight a video game character who you're not even supposed to be able to fight. The effortlessness that Vader had in fighting off Reva was really cool to see. He doesn't even use a lightsaber, and she just doesn't even seem like a small-time threat to him. That's right after he's seen struggling even pulling the ship out of the sky, so he's already pretty tired. I'm curious to see how her story ends, or maybe doesn't end next week. I'm not really sure what I'd like to see. I think it's pretty obvious that she's going to have some sort of confrontation with Kenobi. I'm just wondering whether he's going to be able to talk her off the proverbial dark side ledge, whether she'll maybe go off into hiding, whether she'll be killed by the Empire, or whether her story has more to be told. Either way, in my opinion, she's been a really good addition to the show. I know some people don't like her, but I personally love the emotion and the character that she brings. I also liked seeing the return of characters from episode 2. We had the fake Jedi, We had Corran Horn and Corran's mother reappear, although only in the background. I thought the supporting characters did a good job this episode. I would have liked to see more of Leia, just because young Leia has got to be my favorite unexpected part of this show, but overall, I thought that was good too. The other thing that I really like is the return of the Grand Inquisitor. I mean, anyone who's seen Star Wars Rebels knew that he didn't die, and the Inquisitors have always been such mustache-twirly villains, and his re-entrance in this episode was great overall. I like that Reva was temporarily promoted to Grand Inquisitor. Darth Vader really doesn't care about what's going on with the Grand Inquisitors. They're nothing to him. He is just rewarding her for getting him what he wants. She, however, alongside all of them, are essentially disposable in the hunt for Obi-Wan. Anyway, back to the meat of the episode. I thought the action scenes, as I mentioned at the beginning, were just okay. I don't really want to get too far into those. I really love the death of the droid and the new Rebel character. I thought they were somewhat emotional, despite the fact that we haven't really known them for very long at all. And yeah, just to summarize my thoughts, overall a really fun episode with some great flashbacks, and an episode that I thought actually used its runtime very, very well. And one of the most hilarious lightsaber battles, if you could even call it that, I think, in the new Star Wars canon. Anyway, being that I am a Star Wars Legend fan, the last thing I really want to talk about is some of the names that were once again scrawled on a wall here. Again, mostly just really obscure Jedi. Someone on Reddit did a really good job of translating them. I'm going to include that screenshot. We had some of them in the prior episodes, but there was also a new name, Corran Shelby, and my favorite, Roganda Ismarin. Another really cool detail that I actually didn't pick up on myself was that a droid, KP-1, which was actually designed by a fan, finally made its way into live action and was fully realized in this episode. I think that's so cool. Earlier on in the series, they actually had a starfighter that was designed. I believe it was a sort of co-design between ILM and Porsche that was seen from Alderaan. That was really cool. I don't have too much more to add though. I'm curious though about a couple of questions from you guys. First of all, how do you feel about Reva? Do you like her more or less than I do? Do you think she's a great character, too similar to a Trilla-esque villain we got in Jedi Fallen Order? Also, what do you anticipate happening in the finale, and how would you feel if it left the door open or even suggested that there would be a season 2? I look forward to reading all of your guys' thoughts down below. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time, be safe, check out Vite Ramen down in the description, and may the Force be with you.